Good morning, everyone. I'm Laurie Baracco, and I welcome you to the Empower Hour. And this is a weekly segment where I discuss different metaphysical topics. And this week I'll be talking about those who are either beginning their spiritual journey, spiritual, metaphysical, self-empowerment, intuitive journey, and those who may already be on this path. So a lot of times people do have the question of, where do I start? And what do you suggest? That what products should I work with? What classes should I take? And so I'm going to go over quite a few of those things today. And I will also be sharing my insights to some of your psychic development questions, as well as your psychic questions as to what is going on with you these days. All right, so hold on one second. I see we have a new member that I'm going to approve her so she can join us as well in the online community. And I see quite a few of you tuned in on the YouTube page, and also there are a few of you who are joining me in the online community, which is www.themysticalmoon.ning.com. And again, I look forward to meeting and chatting with all of you and sharing some of the information that may be helpful to all of you who are moving along your spiritual journey, and where to start and what should you do and what are my suggestions. First, I did want to share some of my thoughts for this upcoming week and some of the great events that we have planned for you here in the Bonita store, which is where I'm at today. We have Mary Rose, who's filling in for Melinda. She's been a little bit under the weather, and we know that she's anxious to get back to work, but she needs to kind of take care of herself a little bit. She's got the flu, so hopefully she'll be back Monday. She was hoping Saturday. We'll see. We'll see. You know, we do have to honor ourselves when the body's saying, just take time, honor me, let things take their course, and then we just kind of take ourselves off the grid for a little while, you know. And I know that she's usually booked, and so there are a lot of clients that we do have to kind of shuffle around, and we appreciate all of your being understanding and patient with the process. But in the meantime, we do have Mary Rose here at the Bonita store. She's a fantastic, wonderful medium, psychic, intuitive. And then at Fort Myers, we've got Mary Alice today, who's offering sessions as well. So we have Mary Rose here today, and then at Fort Myers we have Mary Alice. So what do we have up and coming? I have heard your requests, and I will be beginning. I am going to start teaching more psychic development classes here at the Bonita store and at the Fort Myers store. And this is a schedule as of right now. I will be teaching at the Bonita store on the first Saturday of the month, and the first class that I have scheduled is a Tarot 1 class on July 1st here at the Bonita store, and it will be from 12 to 2:30. And if you're interested in signing up, please do call the store to put yourself on the attendee list, because I have limited space, and we already have quite a few people who have signed up since I put it out there that I'm hosting this event. And in the Fort Myers store, I will be teaching a psychic development class on the second Friday of the month at 7 p.m. And the first one for the Fort Myers store will be meditation. I almost forgot. I don't have the day off the top of my head, but it's the second Friday in Fort Myers, and I will be going over the topic of meditation, the different types, and share some of the tools that may help you have a more productive meditation practice. All right. Also, tomorrow night in the Bonita store, we have the Goddess Circle with Pam at 7 p.m. Saturday in the Fort Myers store, we have a psychic fair. And then on Sunday, Carrie Stokes is hosting his drum making workshop, and that is from 1 to 4 or 5. And you can call the Fort Myers store to sign up. And we do need, for all those who are planning on attending the drum making workshop, if you haven't signed up, please do sign up before 3 p.m. tomorrow, because he needs his final list of attendees so that he can have all of his supplies so that we can have a great workshop. And there's also a potluck. So it's kind of a community type of workshop event, and you're going to make your own personal sacred tool, a drum. And there's so many different things you can do with a drum. You can use it to help ground you. You could play your drum to journey. If you've ever attended Anya's shamanic meditation in the Fort Myers store, she drums and she guides us through a meditation. And it's, for me, the minute I start hearing the drum beat, it just takes me out. I know that there are several lifetimes where I have worked very closely with a drum. Some people use their drum during healing sessions to help, in a way, cleanse the auric field. And with the drum, it breaks up the frequency. Any type of sound vibration, it breaks up the frequency, and it is like putting shout on a stain. So whatever is not productive for the auric field, or doesn't belong there, or is out of alignment, it automatically aligns it, it cleanses it, it shifts it for you. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And also, Jenny Martin is back from her trip, and from her trips, she had a few trips, work-related and then personal, and she's back. She'll be back for the Fort Myers Psychic Fair this Saturday, and then she'll be back at her regular post at the Fort Myers store for psychic readings on Sunday, and then her class will resume on Monday night, her spiritual enlightenment circle. So we've got quite a bit happening here these days, and we're always adding new and exciting classes and products and sessions, different types of sessions that we offer as well, facilitators. I know that Cynthia Sharp, she just texted me last night, she'll be on vacation. So for those who really enjoy Cynthia's private sessions, you're more than welcome to check her bio out on the Mystical Moon Psychics page as well. What else? I know there's something I forgot. Oh, tomorrow, Thursday, Jenny Fernandez offers her Reiki and reflexology sessions at the Bonita store. So that's such a lovely, lovely session modality. I once in a while, at least about once a month, schedule a session to align some stuff there. And it just feels so wonderful with the aromatherapy, and you just feel like a brand new person afterwards. All right, so I do see more of you have joined me live on the YouTube page. Hello, everyone, as well in the, it looks like a few more have signed on in the online community. So it's so good to see all of you. And I really do enjoy the interaction. So as I discuss some of this information or some of the tips or suggestions that I have, please feel free in the online community to type in your questions or comments and so on and so forth in regards to the topic. And there's something that I am playing around with, and I might try it next week, we'll see, because I've also started doing more of the Facebook Live events. And in a way, if I was able to have my phone here and stream live on the Mystical Moon Facebook page and discuss the topic and be able to go back and forth, in a way, I would be able to kill two birds with one stone, share some of the information that we discuss here, as well as connect with those on Facebook as well. We'll see. I don't know. It might be a lot to manage. I might need a producer for that to go back and forth. And I will say this, that when you're sharing intuitive messages, you're in an altered state, right? So I'm in that psychic channel, and my guides and with practice, all of that assistance has helped me stay grounded and to be able to do a little bit of this back and forth, whether it's reading questions and clicking back and forth and seeing the comments. And it's a quick shifting of the brain and going from psychic zone to, say, practical zone to back in the here and the now. And it is something that I do want all of you to realize. It takes time and it takes practice. Okay, so for those of you who are still trying to adjust with being in the zone, that intuitive zone, and then coming out of it and then making sense and try to ground yourself, it takes time, it takes practice, and there are different things that you can do to help you make that transition, that back and forth transition more easily. Okay, alrighty, so on to today's topic. I had a few different titles for the topic, but basically it has to do with where should you start? You know, so for the metaphysically curious, where do you start? And that is something that at both centers, we have so many questions and phone calls and people who come in and emails. Where do I start? There's so much here. I just know that I'm being drawn to the center, to all that you do here, but I have no clue. I have no clue where to start, where to begin, what to get, what to read, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to share a few different things, techniques, and a few different products that maybe are some of the, are a good psychic starter kit or spiritual development psychic kit, but kit, all right? So as I mentioned, there are so many different things. Now, people come in usually with, or you may have one or two subjects that are kind of drawing you in and that you're interested about. What happens is it's kind of like that book, if you give a mouse a cookie, right? If you give a mouse a cookie, then he's going to want a glass of milk to drink with it. And in a way, that is very much what happens here at the center. I want to know about crystals, and then I see you have those books over there. Oh, and I see your calendar and you have a meditation class. And then that meditation class may have the theme of, say, chakras. And then, oh my gosh, I need to learn about chakras now. And so it's, the beautiful thing is that it's a never-ending journey. So you can learn a little bit about crystals, but then there's another layer to that, and then a layer to that, and then a layer to that. So if you go into your spiritual development practices without any, I'm going to say expectations, or try not to compare yourself with others, or, well, I would say it is helpful to have an end goal, right? To say, my goal is to feel better. My goal is, whether it's for healing, my goal is to work on some of these stress symptoms that my body is holding on to, right? To have goals are very doable, and I do suggest that you have kind of formulate an idea of what is it I want to do with all of this, and what's the feeling, what's the experience that I hope to work towards with my spiritual development. Okay, so that's not a bad idea to start from there, right? So as I mentioned, there's crystals, there's psychic development. Some people come in because they had a friend or have a friend or heard about manifestation, and so they know someone who watched The Secret, and then that led them to manifesting an awesome job, a really great relationship, healing an aspect of their body, right? And or maybe having more peace within themselves. So as you begin your journey, just know that Spirit will place people and ideas along your path to help you with it. I think one of my lights just went on. We've been having some crazy weather here in Southwest Florida. As with a lot of you across the country, we had drought where we had all of these fires, and unfortunately people lost their homes, and just, it's been terrible. And then now we have the opposite experience going on with the weather. It's been raining cats and dogs, and there's flooding, and we go from one extreme to the other. And so it's been playing games with the electricity and the internet and all these things, and we just continue to go with the flow, and we say, you know what, we've got candles. We've got tons of candles, so we can adjust. Anyway, so it's been very interesting, and then my lights just went on. Okay, and so moving forward, so the question a lot of people ask is, where do I begin? So I suggest that you take it slow. I suggest that you start with one or two areas that you're curious about. Okay, and you can, by the way, you can go online and you can Google everything, and it'll lead you to this whole other, you could go down the rabbit hole with this, to this whole other path by searching online. And I don't think that's a bad idea, right? That's where a lot of people kind of wonder, okay, so chakras, what does this chakra thing mean? And then you Google it. And then you might even look for metaphysical centers or classes online or in the area. And that's where a lot of people do find us too, is online when they're searching. They're searching to see what's in the area, or crystals for sale, or sage for sale. So a lot of people do use the internet, and the internet is a wonderful, wonderful tool resource. But realize that, and I know all of you know this, that not everything on the internet is authentic, real, and the golden rule. It's not the final line, the bottom line, okay? There are many different, there's teachers and families of thought and perspectives on the internet as well as there are many different teachers who may have different points of view on the different subjects that you're interested about. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you've taken classes with me before, or if you've watched the Empower Hour before, you know that I'm going to continue to bring home the point that there's not just one way. There are many different ways, and there are many different teachers. And what's most important is that you go within and tune in and see what resonates with you, okay? Any type of information should feel good. It should, in a way, maybe bring in a little bit of peace, or open up other doors, or bring in clarity, and you might have an epiphany or two. So just realize that, okay, I want you to take a step back as you're delving into any type of study. Does this feel right? Does it ring true? Does it leave me with an empowered feeling? Or am I scared? Do I have anxiety? Does that open up more questions where I'm not sure if this feels like I'm not able to sleep? Then that's a red flag. Because to be honest, in any field, whether you're studying medicine, whether you're studying the law, whether you're studying metaphysics, there are some, unfortunately, who do teach out of fear. You want to protect yourself because you don't know what's out there. You never know who, might be doing black magic on you, so I do want you to kind of take that into consideration as well. The information and where you're getting your information and your resources, keep checking in. Is my life improving? Does it feel better? Does it answer some of the questions that I have? So do that internal check, okay? So as I said, the internet is, oh my gosh, it's vast. There's so much information out there, okay? And for some of you, you might feel more comfortable with receiving your guidance, your information through the internet. And that's okay too, right? It doesn't mean that it's not less valid if you don't study under a mentor, all right? That's my soapbox for that. So, and as you continue to, go down that path of spirituality, because there's so much information, what we see here is so many people that get overwhelmed. Just so much, I don't even know where to start. I'm trying to learn everything about it, which I do think part of our educational system has caused us to, has done a disservice in that way, where I've learned everything I can about that, I'm good. We're here, a lot of people want to learn everything about chakras. Well, to be honest, that's almost impossible, because then there are different cultures that have worked with chakras, and then there are the belief system, then you have the crystals that work with the chakras, and there's gritting, then there's Reiki, and with the chakras, and so on and so forth. It is, in my opinion, almost impossible to learn everything that there is to learn about chakras. You can even take the tarot, by the way. It's impossible to learn everything about the tarot between the different decks, between the different layouts, between the different cultural ways of working with them, right? There's, Mary Alice uses astrological layout. I don't even know anything about that. But do you see, I think you get what I'm saying, is that there are so many different layers and levels to this. All right, so you can get overwhelmed, and I most certainly invite you to take your time with it, okay? All right, let's see what else we have here. Oh, I did want to mention too that if say first time coming through the door, with the front desk, the front desk people can help you. And that's why it's so important that when I place somebody at that front desk, that they have a basic knowledge, at least of what we offer, as well as the products that we carry. So you don't feel bad about picking the front desk's mind a little bit with products and how to delve more into certain subjects and how to, which direction they can maybe help point you in a certain direction or two. All right. And to be honest, if we don't have something here that you're looking for, we have other resources and other places that we can recommend that you kind of check out to help you further your studies. I mean, we do not offer hypnotherapy classes here, but I'm going to send you to a place that I know of that has a really great reputation that may be able to help you. Okay? All right. So then, as I touched upon the subject a little bit, education, classes, books. So when seeking out a teacher or a mentor, I am going to encourage you to do a little bit of research. This is where your internet comes in handy. Take a look and see, do they have a website? Do they have information about them? Are there reviews? What information do they put forth? Do they have a YouTube channel? Do they have a video? And even with courses, there should be a little bit of information on there of what you can expect, when it is, and the prices and so on and so forth. And with some classes, by the way, there are some prerequisites. So most certainly, I encourage you to ask around. Check out some things, for some people, meditation. They're not sure, they just want to begin with meditation. So they may come to a crystal bowl meditation, and that they may have an experience, and that may lead them to something else. So there are so many different ways you can learn about these different topics. Then there are books. Now, I did select a couple of books here because for some of you, you may not have a center in your area, or you may live, far away. There's some places, some clients who live in Ohio, and there is not a lot out there. I even have some clients in Canada, not too much out there. And so self-study might be something that is beneficial to you as well. So you can read books, you can take online courses, and you can, again, do your internet research. So some of the books that I do suggest that you read are Doreen Virtue's books. She has some books on a little bit of every subject. So Doreen Virtue, and I know a lot of you know how to spell her name. Then also another spiritual book that I recommend is The Four Agreements. And this has to do with consciousness. So there are some books that I would suggest that you read that have to do with raising your vibration and shifting your energy. Because I'm going to tell you this, once you start delving down the path of spirituality and self-growth, right? Because why are we doing this? Because I want to become more intuitive. And as I become more intuitive, I'm able to trust myself more so. Maybe I want to heal myself. So that might mean that I need to learn a little bit more about why this is happening to me and recognize some of the healing aspects. Again, that's personal growth. I want to improve my relationships. Personal growth. I want to become more abundant. Personal growth. So a lot of this has to do with belief systems and patterns and opening up yourself to other possibilities and information and assistance that may not be physical or tangible. It's opening you up to so much more. Your spirit, the light, our guides, our angels, and there are some books that I do recommend. I'm going to go over a few. I did mention The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Then there's also You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And I suggest the gift edition. That book there, she talks about meditation and relationships. And that, I believe, is a must-have. Okay. If you're interested in crystals, I suggest the Crystal Bible 1. It's a really great place to start. Then there's also Love is in the Earth by Melody. And that one, it's this big old purple book, and it has so many crystals in it. And there aren't any pictures. I'm just going to give you a heads up. There aren't any pictures in there for you to look at. And I have Seth Speaks. This is another really great book that will help you understand more about manifestation, consciousness, The Evolution of Your Soul, Why You're Here. Then there's also my book, Psychic Development 101, which is a compilation of over 10, well, at that time it was 10 years, about 12 years worth of psychic development classes. And in this book, I touch upon a little bit of everything: meditation, past lives, crystals, tarot cards, pendulums. So a little bit of everything is in there, just enough to wet your whistle and to see if any of that resonates. Then there was another one that just popped in for me too. Oh, because Jen had made a comment here in the online community. She loves the secrets. So The Secret, the Law of Attraction. So Esther Hicks's books, where she talks about manifestation and being in the vortex, and how to change your thoughts and to be more aware of that too. So those books are awesome as well. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but these are just a few of the staples, which I know a couple are going to pop up in my head after I go on to the next subject. But you get my gist. So there are tons of really great books out there. Oh, there's also, I knew that I was forgetting some stuff. There's Sandy, because I have them written down here, Sandy Anastasi's books. So that is the Anastasi system of psychic development. Sandy's system has had over 100,000 students that have gone through it. And there is no other system like that, where she has the book, she has the PowerPoint, she has certified teachers who can help you develop your own psychic awareness. And you'll learn about auras, and you'll learn about auras and the psychic channel and psychometry and mediumship and all of these other really great topics as well. And I will type in how to spell her name, because you can also download her stuff. Let's see, let's type it. Anastasi, A-N-A-S-T-A-S-I, Sandy Anastasi. Sandy. So if you go to her website, she even has some YouTube videos as well. And that's kind of what I was talking about, was I was mentioning about that, was check out the YouTube page, see if what they say resonates. Check out their energy, their presence, if you feel comfortable with it. Okay, so Sandy has wonderful programs and books as well, and she teaches a little bit of everything. She teaches about Kabbalah, she teaches about the Tarot, so on and so forth, aura cleansing, you name it, she's got it there. Oh, how can you find some of these resources? Well, you can go online. You can look at websites. You can Google those keywords. You could go to Meetup. That's M-E-E-T-U-P. Meetup usually has a ton of different classes on what's available in your area. We have that here. I know that that's also in Sarasota, all over. And it's also the spiritual communities. I'm going to type it in the online community as well. So it's meetup.com, right? And then it's spiritual communities. That's still one website. You can check out the Natural Awakenings and Facebook to see what else has, where there are possible classes that you may be interested in there. All right, so any questions here or comments as I move forward for any of you? I'll give you a second to type in your thoughts or questions. And then I'm going to go into some of the things that I do suggest for your basic metaphysical kit. All right, so I think that I pretty much have covered where you can find some of the information. And I think I've gone over quite a bit on taking your time with your path and to not overdo it, and so on and so forth. Let's get into some of the tools. So I do suggest, if you're going to start with crystals, I would start with these. I might type them in so that you can see them here. So amethyst. I feel like I'm forgetting one here. So amethyst, citrine, rose quartz, black tourmaline, clear quartz, hematite, and selenite. If you go to the blog at the Mystical Moon and or the online store, it's the mysticalmoonstore.com, you will see an article that I wrote about some of the 7 basic crystals that I suggest that everybody have in their toolbox. So there's amethyst, citrine, rose quartz, black tourmaline, clear quartz, hematite, and selenite. And these crystals will help with just about any area of your life, from abundance to intuition, to connecting with the angelic realm, to keeping your auric field clear, to grounding yourself. So these are just a few, because then some people really connect with tiger's eye, fluorite. I mean, there are so many different crystals, but I encourage you to just work with a few. And yes, you can mix crystals, by the way, because many people do ask about that they're like, oh my gosh, can this crystal be next to this crystal? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Unless you notice that with your goal, so say if you have a combination of 2 crystals that are having opposite energy and you're trying to go to sleep, that's not going to help you. Say you have an amethyst in your room and then you have a moldavite. Amethyst is going to have an interesting experience. Amethyst is going to bring in that peacefulness. It's going to help you connect to your higher guidance, open up the crown chakra. You might have awesome experiences, dreams, and so on and so forth. The moldavite may keep you up all night. So in that combination, I wouldn't suggest it, right? So if you're trying to get a good night's sleep, bringing moldavite with any other crystal or moldavite by itself is not going to help you go to sleep and have a sound sleep. You're going to, chances are, be up all night, wanting to journal, wanting to meditate. You may have tons of visitors, your guides, your crossover loved ones. You may even be traveling to other planets. So my advice is to just be mindful of the intention of why you're putting those crystals together, right? What is it I want? What energy? What feeling? What's the purpose I am trying to pull together with these crystals? All right, so with that in mind, yes, there are some combinations that may not be awesome together. If you had those 2 in your meditation room, then most certainly go for it, because you're going to have such an awesome experience. Trust me. All right. So yeah, just be mindful of that. So I suggest those 7 basic crystals. Then sage. So sage is something that I do believe everybody should have some sage around, whether it's, let me get to my camera here, whether it's the loose leaf sage in a like a wand, or if you're not able to light sage, get some sage spray. That's going to help keep the environment cleansed and cleared. And a lot of people do come in, like, that is probably the #1 reason people may come in here is someone suggested that they get some sage because they need to sage their home, or they have someone coming in and that's clearing their home because the energy feels a little off. So they come in and they say, okay, this is my first time here and somebody sent me in for some sage. We can help you. Do you need the type that is lit or the type that you can spray? So then they'll say, okay, the type that, is usually it's lit. And then we show them the different types, and usually most people prefer to start with the white leaf sage, which is what this is. This is the white leaf, and it does everything, right? So this is your all-in-one sage. So it will help clear the environment. It will help open up your intuition. It brings in that wonderful high vibration that feels cleansed and cleared, and it can help clear your car, clear your space, it can clear you. It brings in the light. So I am going to go over quickly how to use the sage. So if you're using if you're using the loose leaf sage, then this is how we recommend that you work with it. And by the way, when you do come into the store, we are going to give you a card. That's my wand. Sorry, I keep waving back and forth. We give you a card on how we suggest that you work with the sage. And there are many different ways to work with sage, by the way. So if you're going to say cleanse your space, you want to make sure you have a door or a window open just a crack, so that when you're clearing the energy, it has a place to go. And many of you may have heard me mention the story before, but I'm going to mention it again. There was this woman who came into the first mystical moon in Island Park, and she had never been sage before. And she said, I totally need this in my life. Okay, so we saged her, and then I was saging her and going around her energy field, and she's just, oh, I feel so wonderful. And then one of my the members of my staff opened that front door, and they said, we got to let it out. I said, oh, yes, we do. And we opened the door, and then a car alarm went off. We were like, oh, there it goes. So you do want to leave a window or a door open just a crack so that that energy can go out. And when we use the sage, it's not because we are working with fear. We want to cleanse the space. It doesn't mean the boogeyman is attached to you. It means that there may be some anxiety, fear, stress, grief, whatever is kind of floating around, that heavy energy. We are getting rid of it. We are clearing it. And some people ask, how often do I need to sage? And I say, it depends. And my advice is, it depends on what you're going through. It depends on what's going on at the time at that time in your life. Sometimes I suggest, once a week, once a month. It really does depend. You can have a rough day at work. You could have a rough time at Publix and come home and just be not yourself. So then I would recommend saging. Say if your child is having nightmares and or night tremors, I would suggest working with that as well. I'm just looking at the comments, and I'm going to go over how to do this. And Jen says, I got in trouble for going in only for sage. And that's how it can happen. I know. So many people say, I have my list, but oh my gosh, this is calling me, or that's calling to me, or I must have this in my life. So yes, that happens to many of us. I know when we have new shipments come in, a lot of the staff are like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to spend more than I'm making this week. And it does happen. Happens to me too. Sometimes I see someone purchase a crystal, and I really didn't look at that tumbled crystal like in detail, and I think, how did that get on the shelf? I need that. All right. So with lighting the sage, if you're using the loose leaf sage, or even if you're working with a wand, I do suggest you have something to catch the ashes, because the ashes can stain your carpet and they can make a mess. So I usually like to have something to hold it together. And then I light my sage. And by the way, usually I would have a feather to complete my smudging ritual, which saging is also known as smudging. But in this instance, I don't. So I'm going to use my hand and my intention. So as you see, my sage is lit, and I've got some good smoke going there. And then I would begin at the front door. And, there are people who do ask, should I go clockwise, counterclockwise? I would say as a creature of habit, a lot of times I do clockwise. And it's because my intention is to bring in this good energy. But if you really, really want to cleanse, you can go counterclockwise, because it's going to pull out that energy. Intention is the most important thing. So my sage is going, and then I'm going to fan it. And with my intention, I'm bringing in the light. I might even light a white candle. Let's see, I have over there a white candle to bring in the light and spirit. And I'm asking that anything that doesn't serve or belong here just needs to go to the light. And then I'm going to make it all around my space. I'm going to go through all the rooms. I'm going to get underneath the furniture, in the corners. I'm going to fan that. And then I'm going to make it through the whole space. And then when I'm done, with the loose leaf sage, depending upon how smoky it is, I might just let it burn out. And that's why I don't light the whole thing, right? You can see I just lit a couple of the leaves there. Okay, so that will go out on its own. But if it's too smoky, and say Jenny Martin's coming in, which Jenny Martin's very sensitive to smoke, and she has some allergies and it affects her, I might do this early in their day. Quickly, before Jenny comes in, I'm going to put it out so that I don't want her to be uncomfortable, okay? So then I'm going to put that over there, and then it's done. And then just take a moment and just breathe in that energy. I might even, by the way, sage myself, even though I have been saged in that process. Say I'm saging myself, I will put right here in front of me. I might even take that smoke and fan it over each chakra. I might start, right, say with the crown. I might then go with the third eye and bring that smoke, and then to the throat, and then to the heart, then to the solar plexus, then to the sacral, and then to the root. Okay? So that I am cleansed. for now. So for now then, I am all set to go with the sage. With the sage mist, which is another thing I do encourage you to carry with you, because you can also get a smaller bottle, is that you can shake this up and spray this. You could do the same thing as with the sage. This is a new bottle, sorry. So then I'm gonna go around my own energy field and feel things shift for me. So you could sage your car, you could sage your office, classroom, and or your space where maybe someone is really sensitive to the smoke. All right. There are other types of sage. Then there's also, there are different types of sage, and then there's also Palo Santo that people use. So you can experiment with a few different things. All right, I do see that there are some comments here. So Yolanda has a question. May I ask why my head hurts every time I sage my home? Well, it's very possible that some energy is getting trapped here, up in here, like in the third eye. And what I mean by that, whether it's your anxiety, your stress, or whatever's going on here, maybe you're overthinking. And the way that they're explaining it to me is it's like, okay, we're taking that off of you, and so you might be really sensitive to what's going on around you. So that could be one reason why. I would suggest that as you're saging, that you bring in the light through the crown and have that light push through all of that energy through the stomach, the legs, the feet, into the earth. So I would ground yourself when you're doing that. Maybe even hold on to a grounding stone like a red jasper or hematite. That might help you too as you're saging. So to me, they're showing me it's lifting some of that energy and pushing it out, okay? So I hope that makes sense for you. So try that. Let me know how that works for you. And then Jen has another comment. Yes, I walked out with a new crystal candle and 2 sages. Can never have enough sage, right? Can't help it. All right, so moving forward, because I don't want to run out of time. Let's see, I mentioned the books. Oh, incense. So a lot of people say, I want incense. And the most popular incense that we have is the Nag Champa. So it's that blue Nag Champa that clears the environment, right? It has a similar effect to sage and does the same thing. It will clear energy and it will bring in the light, and it helps open up your intuition. And a lot of people use this for meditation. So this incense gets you there, and it's the most popular one we have. And I think that throughout the world, everybody loves their blue Nag Champa. And there's a story that with the Nag Champa, which has a floral type of aroma, that Sai Baba would pull vibhuti, which is etheric dust, near the air, and it's sprinkled here on the Nag Champa. So this is the #1 incense that we sell, that we recommend, because it's wonderful for meditation, it's wonderful for stress relief. But we have, I don't even know, I don't think I have 100 different types of incense, but we might have 75 or so in the store. So we have tons of different types of incenses, okay? So we have a little bit of everything. We have incense for, like say cinnamon, that helps with abundance. We have lavender, we have rose, we have one that's for love, all these different types of incense. But this is the one I recommend, that if you are wanting a basic kit, I would have the Nag Champa. Then there are different types of oils, and a lot of people, so moving forward with incense and aromatherapy, a lot of people are interested in aromatherapy. And there are so many different oils and so many different combinations. The 2 that I recommend that you keep with you are lavender as well as peppermint. And if you're going to use them, say for, I don't know, headache relief, stress, and you might even be putting a little bit on your body, I would use more of the essential oils, 100% essential and organic if you can find it as well. There's different blends that are more of a perfume, and those can affect you if you're sensitive, you have sensitive skin, or if you're sensitive to different aromas, such as Yolanda maybe. So I recommend the peppermint for clarity. If you're feeling foggy, if you feel like, gosh, I'm just out of it, this will bring you back in your body. It gives you energy. You can also use it for headaches, right? You may take like a little bit and just a little tiny bit and put it on your temples and then breathe it in. What I like to do with my oils is take a drop or two, put it between my hands, and I rub them together. And I breathe it in, and then I'll put it in the crown. Sometimes I'll put it on different points, like up here, behind my ears, maybe even on my wrists. I might even put a couple of drops in my oil diffuser as well. I have an oil diffuser right next to my bed, and I have relaxing oils such as lavender or clary sage, or even sage, because by the way, sage oil is a natural antiseptic. So it kills the germs in the air too. So that's a little tidbit that if you didn't know that about sage. But moving on to lavender. So lavender is really good for nurturing, stress relief, meditation. It's even good for cuts on the body. So it helps heal different skin issues. And this is a really good one too, because this kind of takes you out of that stressful place, puts you in the zone, and brings in a peaceful, relaxing feeling. And it also helps open the heart chakra as well. All right, and again, there are tons of other different types of oils and their uses. Then meditation CDs. I do recommend, if you're starting, to try to download or purchase or watch on YouTube one of Kelly Howell's meditation CDs. And this is her name, Kelly Howell. And this one is prayer. And as you see on the back, there's all this different information about what this CD will help with in the different states, the brain waves. And she has the most relaxing voice. Oh my goodness. So it's soothing, it's relaxing, and with the CD, she has in the background subliminal messages that are positive, and they reinforce that intention. And then usually with her CDs, the second half is just the music, that frequency that gets you into those different brain alpha wave states. All right. Then I also the CDs that I have created by myself and with Joanna are really great. So this is a crystal bowl meditation for those who haven't been able to make it in person. Then there's the one that we created, Transform Yourself, which is a 21-day program of manifesting and watching your thoughts and so on and so forth. Then there's also the Esther Hicks CDs. There's one that I totally love by Wayne Dyer. It's the Tao, T-A-O, and he recites the different verses of the Tao, and then he tones the Tao 3 times, Tao, 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 and that is also an awesome way to meditate and learn how to meditate too. Okay, so those are just a few CDs. Last thing is my most favorite CD for energy work or playing in the background is Garden of the Gods by Deuter, D-E-U-T-E-R, Garden of the Gods. And I try to, it's hard to I try to have that one in the store. Okay, in the online community. It typed in Dexter, but it's D-E-U-T-E-R. So Myra asked, what oil is good for the third eye? Frankincense is really great for the third eye. White angelica is really great. Wormwood, which is a little stinky. There are some blends that most certainly will open up that third eye. Rosemary is good for that. Patchouli is really good for your third eye. I don't know if I mentioned yarrow, that as well. And even lavender will help open you up too intuitively as well. Some people like the blend of frankincense and myrrh too. That definitely opens up that site as well. Also, a pendulum. I didn't grab one here, but in your metaphysical kit, I would also have a pendulum in there. Pendulums help with yes or no answers. They can help move energy. They can help bring in energy. They can align the chakras. And a pendulum is any type of weighted object that hangs from either a string, a rope, a chain. And I might do that one week, is to discuss pendulums and how you can use them. Okay, so pendulums are also a really great tool as well to keep in your kit. Also, as you're beginning your journey, you're going to learn about different things such as Reiki and energy healing. And that also can lead you into a whole other area. I've been talking a lot about, discussing a lot about psychic development. There's also the path to healing. And if I was to suggest for the beginners one class for healing, I definitely would recommend that it be a Reiki level 1 class. And again, I would most certainly encourage you to research that a teacher, a mentor, and a Reiki 1 class can, by the way, it is an investment. It can run you anywhere from $99 to $150. And I would say that's about the going rate. But in Reiki 1, R-E-I-K-I, you're going to learn about the energy, the universal healing energy that we all are aligned with. And you're going to learn how to connect and bring that energy through, because it doesn't come from you, it moves through you. And you learn about hand positions and self-healing, as well as how to have hand positions over other people and to hold space and facilitate healing for others by connecting the light and bringing in healing wherever that healing needs to go for others. So I do recommend, for those who are curious, at least to take a Reiki 1 class. And there are 3 different levels to Reiki, but the Reiki 1 definitely helps you understand more about that healing energy and how you can channel that energy for different intentions, right? If you want to charge up a candle, you want to bless and charge up your food, you're going to learn so many different things with Reiki. Also, another area, I touched upon this briefly, with manifestation is the law of attraction. So I encourage you to read, that's a book too, that Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. That is going to help you understand about how you manifest, why you manifest, and how to do it more consciously. So there's so much material around manifestation, and the law of attraction as well. You see how this all can kind of lead you into so many different directions. I didn't even touch upon the chakras, and that is something too that a lot of people are very curious about, because if you learn about those different energy centers, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, your emotional self, your physical self, and how each of those main energy centers is the host for different challenges, different gifts that we can learn to work with, and we'll understand ourselves on different levels, the physical level, the emotional level, the spiritual, and I think I did the mental. I don't know if I said that one or not, on those 4 different levels. So chakras can lead you into a whole other different direction. Okay. The last thing that I want to say too, because I am running out of time. So if you're wanting me to answer psychic question, I encourage you to type it in now before we hit that 10 o'clock mark. I will encourage you to cleanse your tools often. So whether it's your crystals, or say you have, oh my gosh, you're showing me other things I didn't even mention. So to cleanse your crystals often. Some people like to work with different tools, like an athami, which is a knife for directing energy, or even a certain wand. So cleansing them might be lighting sage. Cleansing them might be putting them in a salt mixture. But do realize that your pendulum needs to be cleansed too. But do realize that your tools hold energy. Okay, and every once in a while, it's good to bless them and clear them and charge them again. The one other thing I didn't mention, which they're showing me, has to do with salt lamps. I didn't even touch upon having a Himalayan salt lamp. I know after I sign off, there's going to be so much that they're saying, and you forgot this, but this would be an all-day class, or we would be talking about this topic all day long. Anyway, a Himalayan salt, having a plugged-in lamp, helps neutralize the ions in your environment, and it can help with electromagnetic smog, and it can help ground you. And the benefits of Himalayan salt is fantastic. All right, so I'm going to go into the questions here, and I do want to say that it would serve you to be patient with your path. I think I touched upon this a little bit earlier, and to enjoy the path and have fun with it. And just do know some things may come up for you here and there as you delve more deeply into your own psyche and your own healing path. Some things may come up. It's because it may not serve you anymore, or you need to be aware of some things that, certain patterns that you do have that may not be serving you anymore. Just take your time, have fun with it, and there is no rush. It's about the journey with it. All right, so Kelly's question, or she says she's open to spirit. So I'm just going to pull 3 cards quickly. All right, so it looks like there's a very assertive nature about you these days, and you're definitely feeling the push to get things done. So they're saying that she's owning it, she's embracing it, and she's carrying it through, and you're making things happen for yourself. So you have let me make sure I can see you here, the Emperor, who's all about being in control as best as he can within balance and not being overbearing. So you've got the Emperor, you have the 4 of Pentacles reversed, and then you have the 5 of Swords. So as you can see here, it's like you have no problem speaking your truth. You have no problem with getting the job done for yourself and making things happen. So go you. All right. So Spirit says, enjoy this confidence, and this is the time to take on those challenges where maybe before you didn't feel like you had enough confidence to do so. Okay? Awesome. All right. I hope that makes sense to you, and enjoy that energy. And Jen says, I just saw a pendulum kit and have thought about buying it because I seem to have blocks and not hearing the messages, kind of like a checks and balance. You know, and they can help you. Here's the thing, though, is that when it comes to trusting our own intuition, when it comes to an area that we're really sensitive to or emotionally invested, we may not get the clearest answer. And with the pendulum and or say cards or any other divination tool, it's most important that you be precise with your question and then not ask the question over and over and over again because you're doubting the message that's coming through. And sometimes we're not supposed to know. All right, so a pendulum, yeah, that would be fun. I definitely love working with my pendulum, and a lot of times it validates different things too. So I'll talk about that subject in the future. So yes, Myra, I don't know, is it Myra? Has a question. I believe my 4-month-old is very sensitive to energies. He used to sleep all night, but most recently has been very fuzzy at night. Am I able to sage him, or is it too strong? What do I recommend? I would recommend maybe an amethyst, a rose quartz, and or a blue calcite in his room. I would sage his room when he's not in there. I also feel that he's got some visitors, some loved ones, and some angels that are visiting him in that dream state. And, oh yeah, they're saying too, for you when you're clearing his room every once in a while, when you're saging, maybe spray a little bit of lavender spray in there too, a little bit. And then talk to the light, your guides, his guides, and ask that they help him have a restful night's sleep, and that he feel at peace, and kind of set the space and stage for him. Okay? All right, and Kelly says, absolutely. Thank you, Laurie. You're most welcome. And Lady Christina wants to know, her question is, who is my spirit guide that I can ask for help to? I have a female, and her name is Agatha. I have the name Agatha. And I have the picture of the woman with, it feels like it's like would be like a Celtic type of culture or background, and I see like a cloth over her, and I see her with I'm seeing darker hair, and I do believe you've had another lifetime with her. And just call her name in. I'm smelling sandalwood. I'm smelling different oils and like a combination. They feel very, to me, they also feel like very woodsy. I'm smelling sandalwood, also patchouli and benzoin. So if you can work with those oils and or herbs, I would put them together, make a little mixture, and then maybe call upon her, or just call upon her. And I feel like she already has made her presence known. Okay, so I feel that her answers are, and her guidance is very simple and to the point and direct. Very awesome, powerful presence. All right, and you're so welcome. Thank you for typing that in there. All right, everybody. So it's time for me to sign off, and I thank all of you for tuning in and for joining me during this Empower Hour. For next week, I don't have a topic yet. I haven't, it hasn't really quite come to me yet, but I look forward to seeing you. And I might be Facebooking it live. We'll see. We'll see how multitasking I can be if I'm a multitasker in that way. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care. Namaste.